Okay, so hello and welcome back to another day of the 100 Days Design Challenge with Xpress-Pixels. So today, let's not forget we are still in the theme of designing movie posters. So today we'll be designing one for Squid Game. So let's just dive right into it. Alright, first thing I want to do, of course, is create my canvases, right? So I'm going with these 2600 pixels by 3000 pixels, and I'm going to create. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do, or the first thing I want to do, let me add a solid background. Okay, the solid background I want to add is black. I want a black background. Click solid background, you drag yours to white, black if it's not on black, and then you click OK. So we're going to import our first resource. So let's go into our first resource panel here, and then I'm just going to import the first resource I'll be using, which is this here. Okay, let's start with this first. I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag to Photoshop. All right, and I'm going to expand it. Okay, expand here, expand here. Good. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to drag this up. I just need a little part of it to show. Okay. All right, now, so the next thing I want to do, sorry, before that, let me bring this down a bit. Let's bring this down a bit. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is import my next resource. So I'm just going to go into my file where I have the resources, and then this next resource I'll be using. I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag and drop it inside Photoshop. Good. So let me just increase this a bit. All right. Good. Increase that. I think this is okay. So what I want to do now, I'm going to go into my select, and I'm going to select the subject. Once the subject is selected, I'm just going to so I'm going to come here and I'm going to click. Okay, that's good. Alright, so what I want to do now on this is I'm just going to edit it. I'm going to go into my filter, camera filter. Okay, once the camera filter opens, I'm just going to increase the vibrance. Sorry, the saturation is too much. I'm going to increase the vibrance. Let me return this back to 0. Increase the dehaze, increase texture, increase texture. Okay, all right, I think this is okay, and I'm going to click OK. Once I'm done with this, the next thing I want to do is import the next set of resources I'll be using. Okay, I'm going to go into my file, and this is the first one I'll be placing, this one right here. So alright, we can just select everything and drag them to Photoshop. So I'm just going to select everything, I'm going to drag and drop inside of Photoshop. Alright, so I'm going to place them one by one. So once it comes like this, just click enter. Alright, for all of the images. So let me unsee all of them. Alright, so I'm going to start with the first image, which is this. Alright, so the first one I'm going to select, I'm going to go to my select, and I'm going to select the subject. Once the subject is selected, I'm just going to, create a clipping mask, add a layer mask, sorry. So I'm going to separate it. Good. So this is the first one. Let's increase this. Okay, let me place this here. Alright, so let's reduce it a bit. Alright, here, alright, this right here is okay. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next one. The next one I'll use this one here. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to select the subject. Once the subject is selected, I'm just going to do the same thing, create a layer mask on top of this. All right, and I'm going to place this image right here. I'm going to place this image right here. Okay, now I'm going to take this image right behind this image in front. Alright, this here is okay. Good. I'm going to move on to the next image. I'm going to just click enter. Now the next image I'll be working with is this one right here. So I'm going to transform this. I'm just going to click Ctrl C. I'm going to left click on this, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. I want it to flip to the other side. Alright, so I'm going to select it, and once I'm done with that, press enter, select, and then I'm going to select the subject. Once the subject is selected, I'm going to do the same thing, create a layer mask right on top of this. Okay, and I'm going to place this here. Let me reduce the size of this. I want it to align with this image here. I'm going to place this right here. I'm going to place this here. I'm going to take this right behind this image, of course, too. Let's place this here. All right, this is good. Now I'm going to go on to the next resource I'll be using. Okay, I'm going to go into, okay, it's here already. So this, for the next one, this is the next thing I'll be using. This is it here. I'm going to select the subject again. Once the subject is selected, I'm just going to add the layer mask on this one also. I'm going to reduce the size of this. Okay, we don't want it to be too small, of course. I'm going to place this here. So I'm going to take this behind these images. All right, it's supposed to come after this one here. All right, so once I'm done with this, I'm going to go on to the next image. Move on to the next image. Let me move this guy out and move this one away. Okay, we don't want it too close. Now I'm going to go on to the next image, which is this one right here. I'm going to select the subject. I'm going to go to select subject. Once the subject is selected, all right, if you look at this now, there are some inconsistencies here. So what I want to do is, of course, go into my selection tool, my quick selection tool, because so what I want to do here, I want to remove this. So I'm going to click on the one that has the minus on this top here, and I'm just going to go across this. All right, so you just go. If you look at this here, now there's a part of this that is removed also, and I want it back. So I'm going to go back to the plus. Let me zoom in on this so you see what I'm talking about here, and I'm just going to add it. I'm going to add it. All right. Okay, that's good. So all right, no, not yet. We're not done here. Here, I'm just going to, sorry, I have to select the negative one, and I'm going to select this out. Select this out. Okay. All right. Now once I'm done with this, I'm just going to create a layer mask right on top of this one. Create layer mask. All right, this is good. Now let me take this behind this image here. All right, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to drag right behind this image here. Good. Now let me add the last set of images, which this is one. I'm going to select this. So I'm just going to select the subject. Once the subject is selected, I'm going to create the layer mask right on top of this. All right, and I'm going to move this here. So this image is going to be here. Of course, you don't want it to be too small. You reduce the size, but you don't want it to be too small. So I'm trying to follow like a pattern where it goes from here like this, and then it comes down again. All right, so I'm going to take this image and just move it behind. All right, let me move this guy inside. Show. All right, and now the last image I want to add, of course, which is this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control T to transform this. I want this to face this other way. Control T, left click on this, and then I'm going to flip it horizontally. Good. And I'm going to select the subject right now. I'm going to go into my press enter. Go into my select the subject. Once the subject is selected, of course, I'm going to create a layer mask right on top of this. Good. And I'm going to take this and place this here. Alright, so let me just reduce the size of this a bit. We don't want it to be too obvious. Reduce the size of this. For this, let me increase the size also. Increase the size here. Although we're trying to achieve something, but we don't want any of the image to be lagging behind, right? So I'm going to take all of this, select all of the images. Alright. So I'm going to select all of these images here. I'm going to let me group them. All right. So after grouping them, what I want to do now is I'm going to let me reduce this. I want everything to enter inside here. And place this here. Okay. Enter. So I'm just going to convert this to a smart object. I'm going to right click on this, convert to smart object. Now once this is converted, I'm just going to go into my filter, camera filter. Once camera filter opens, there are some basic things I want to do. Of course, I'm going to go into my basic, and I'm going to increase the texture. That's very important. Increase the vibrance again. So are you seeing pictures are popping already? Let's leave the clarity as it is. We don't necessarily need to increase the clarity. So they're already popping. You can increase your dehaze a bit, alright? And then once I'm done with that, I'm just going to click OK. Good. So once that has taken effect, I'm going to create a layer mask right on top of this image here. So you just come here and click. Once you're done with that, you go to your brush tool. Make sure soft brush is selected. Okay, soft brush is selected. And then you can increase or reduce the size of your brush. So to do that, you just click on the square brackets. The square brackets, one of them does the reducing, one of them does increasing. For those of you that might not know how to do that, alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back to my select, and then I'm going to increase this. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to increase the size of this image here. Okay, I think this is good. This is good. This is okay. This is good. So now, of course, the next thing I want to do is, so this image, let me reduce it a bit. We don't want it taking a bit. Although the image is important, but that's not the main highlight of the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to click on enter. Now let me adjust this. I want to move this a bit to the side. Move this a bit to the side. Let's click on enter. That's good. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to import my next resource. Of course, I'm going to go into my file. And then I'm going to import the next resource, which is this. I'm going to take this, drag and drop side of Photoshop. Alright, so once it drops, I'm just going to press shift, and then I'm going to right click and rotate. Sorry, I'm going to left click and rotate. Let me increase the size of this. Good. I'm going to take this down. Alright, so let me reduce this. Make sure it goes from the beginning to the end. Bring this down. Alright, this is good. This is good. So now what I want to do, I'm going to go into my filter, camera raw filter, right on this image I just imported into Photoshop. Of course, I'm going to go into my filter, camera raw filter. Okay, I'm going to increase the texture. Increase clarity, increase the DX, of course, and increase the vibrance. Reduce the exposure. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the exposure, and then once I'm done reducing the exposure, so you can reduce other thing to reduce the highlight, reduce white. Okay, and I'm going to press OK. So the idea is that we want this to show bold. This is not the main focus. Okay, this is not the main focus of this whole thing. So I'm just going to create a layer mask right on top of this. I'm going to go into my brush tool, and then I'm just going to wipe. Alright, I'm just going to wipe. Let's reduce the size of the brush. Let me wipe this. Good. Alright, this is good. So just one more thing we need to do to this. So I'm going to create a new layer, of course. I'm going to come here. So cancel. I'm just going to come here to my gradient here. I'm going to create a new layer. So right on that layer, I'm just going to drag upwards. Alright, drag upwards. So you have to make sure your opacity is at 100, and then you check your color palette here. You also want black and a faded color. Okay, so to do that, let's just click that. So when you go there, you click, then here is for the color. This top part is where you reduce the opacity. Okay, so click here, you select black, and the opacity is supposed to be 100 on this side. Here you can also select black, but the opacity here is supposed to be at 0. So you just drag down or drag up depending on what you want to do, and then just click OK. Alright, so once you're done with this, so I'm just going to duplicate this, Ctrl J to duplicate. Now one of these, I'm going to take it right to the back, just in front of this front of this person here. Okay, and then the next one, so let's reduce the size of this. We just want it to be faded a bit, so I'm going to press shift and reduce the size of this. reduce the size. Sorry, reduce the size. You press shift and make sure your hand is on shift, okay, when you're reducing the size, and then enter. Now for this other one right on top here, I'm just going to take it down. Alright, let's do the same thing. Let's reduce the size. Press shift and reduce the size. I'm going to take it down, okay. Place this just right here and then enter. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do, of course, is add the name of the movie. I'm going to go to my text tool. I'm going to click and then I'm going to write the word SQUID. So make sure caps is on, SQUID. I'm going to Control A to select everything and then I'm going to increase it. So we're going to be using about, let's say, 448. Okay, so let me say 448. All right, now, and the font I'm going to use here is Game of Squids. There's a font called Game of Squids. So GAME Game of Squids is the same thing as the font used in Squid Games. Okay, so for those of you that might want to download the font, now I'm going to add the text here, Squid. This is good. And then let me just duplicate this so I don't have to stress with. So to duplicate this, press your hand on Alt and then you right click and drag. Make sure your hand is still on Alt when you're dragging, okay, so that it's just like you're dragging that same text, but you're dragging another one out of it. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to double click, then game, GAME, game. I'm going to reduce the size of the game. Let's reduce the size of this again. I'm going to place the game right here. So let me increase this so that I see what I'm doing. I'm going to increase this. Okay, so let me just drag this up. Good, I'm going to click enter. Alright, so we need here to be perfectly aligned. Alright, I'm going to take this down and I'm going to push it inwards. Alright, this is good. And then enter. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go into my shape tool. All right, I'm going to select this circle. I'm going to come to the middle of this Q here. I'm going to place my hand on shift and then I'm just going to left click and just drag out. All right, so I'm going to go into the colors. I'm going to select this color. So this is the color palette. This is the color code D4006E for those of you might be wondering what it is. So D4006E, that's the color code for that. I'm going to take this now. Take note, I'm going to take this behind the text. All right, I'm going to take this behind the text. I'm going to do the same thing here also, but this time I'm going to change the shape. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, increase this also. Okay, so let's take this in. Okay, all right, so we're changing the color palette also, the color again to this. I'm going to take this behind the text. Don't forget, that's the whole idea. Take it behind the text. All right, now the last thing I want to do, of course, is going to my shape tool again. I'm going to select the triangle tool. All right, I'm going to press shift and just create one here. All right, so I'm going to change the color to the same color we're using here. Now take note, I already gave you the color code for those of you that might want it or that might need to know what it is. All right, so I'm going to take it behind the text. All right, this is good. This is good. Let me just click this here, and then let me just take it down a bit. All right, now the last thing we want to do is go into our file again. When we have our text, our resources, I'm going to drag Netflix and place it here. I'm going to reduce this. Okay, let me drag this down. All right, so what I want to add is I want to add the text. I'm going to go to my text tool. I'm going to click and I'm going to add the text only on. Okay, only on. I'm going to change the font to Product Sans, PRODUCT. So for those of you that might be wondering what font I'm using, Product Sans. Okay, I'm going to select the bold, Product Sans bold, and I'm just going to reduce the size of this. So reduce the size of this. The reason why I'm using Product Sans bold, if you take a look at the Netflix, the fonts are looking almost the same. Okay, That's actually why I went with the choice of products. I wanted something that is almost the same as the Netflix. Alright, once I'm done with that, I'm going to duplicate this text, this only on. I'll show you how to duplicate. You press Alt, you're going to left click and then you just drag. Alright, you drag to the point where you want it. I'm going to double click on this also to edit the text. So I'm going to change this to, I'm going to double click and I'm going to change this to February FEB 13, February 13th. Let's assume the movie is coming out on 13th of February. Alright, and now the last thing I want to add there, I'm going to go to my shape to rectangle tool. Let me just drag right across here from top to bottom of Netflix, and I'm going to change the color to the color of Netflix here. So once you click on the color, you can just come to your color palette here, and then you can just come right to where you have your Netflix to select the color directly from Netflix. Okay, then I'm going to, once that is done, I'm going to reduce this. Let me drag this also out. Good. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to select all of them. The February 13th, the rectangle tool I added there, the Netflix, the only on. I'm going to select all of them. All right, and I'm going to reduce it. Let me reduce it. Reduce. All right, this is good. This is good. So let me go back to my Squid Game, the text. Okay, let me just increase them a bit. So I'm going to select everything: the squid, the game, and all the shapes that are put behind those texts. All right, I don't want anything messing up my design. I'm going to, so if I'm increasing anything, I'm increasing all of them together. All right, that's too much. Let me bring this down, and I'm going to click enter. All right, so with this, we've come to the end of our design for today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope this improves your creativity. Keep dreaming big, keep learning. You are going to get there. The best is just, a stone throw away. All right, thank you very much for staying to the end of the class. I hope you learned something new. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're watching from. Have a lovely day.